the US ahead of the Tszyu Takeover, George Rose from No Limits. A really exciting day, the beginning of an exciting period for No Limit and for Tszyu.
It is. It's a very exciting day. It's a bit of a relief, really, because for the past 3 months, I haven't been able to go anywhere in Australia without everybody wanting to know when's Tszyu's next fight, where's Tszyu's next fight, and I'm stoked to be able to say that we're heading to USA today. It's the beginning of the takeover. Tim's coming to the US, ready to take on all the big guys. We're headed to LA today. Tim will go into camp for the next however many weeks leading into the fight. March 30, we're ready to go. Keith Thurman in Las Vegas. Now, this is something, and I just got goosebumps again. You can't see under my jacket, but I just got goosebumps again thinking about the thought that we're about to head to Las Vegas to headline at T-Mobile Arena. Something iconic for any Australian fighter, something that hasn't been done. An Australian-born fighter has never headlined a US pay-per-view. Tszyu's about to do that. Tszyu's about to come to the USA and take over. So this is massive for Australian boxing. Whenever Tszyu is doing good, Australian boxing is doing good. He's bringing everybody along for the journey, and it's going to make for a really great month of fights.
Some people may have missed the news over the course of the weekend, but just take us through the historical significance of what Tim's involved in.
So Tim's headlining the first Amazon Prime boxing show. It's the new broadcast deal. Obviously, we've moved from Showtime Boxing to Amazon Prime. Iconic. There's 160 million odd subscribers in the US, so we've got the opportunity to go to that many subscribers, that many fans over in the US, and huge opportunity for Tim. He's headlining a card that's stacked with multiple world title fights. Again, look, I get a bit lost for words. I get a bit excited. It's a huge opportunity, not only for Tim, but for Australian boxing. And Tim's carrying Australia with him. He's put on some fantastic performances here in Australia, selling out arenas, stadium shows. Everybody here in Australia has got behind Tszyu. He's built himself to the point where he's taken down big American names. He's taken down big guys in the super welterweight division here in Australia. Now he's ready to do it in their backyard. So we might head over there as the underdog. Who knows? You know, I've got no doubt Tszyu is not an underdog. He's never been an underdog, but that's how they see us coming into the USA. So we're going there with the support of Australia, with everybody behind Tim, looking to make a massive statement in Las Vegas on March 30th.
What was Tim's reaction when you or Glenn or Matt told him?
I think the reaction was the same as all of us. There was a little bit of a expletives, you know. Say a hell yeah, you know. There was a hell yeah. We absolutely loved it. Obviously, there's been talks with guys like Lubin. You know, you want to make a statement in America, you need a good name. Erickson Lubin was a good name in the US. He's a guy that didn't end up taking the fight, but Keith Thurman has come through. Keith Thurman's a guy that has been in only big fights. You look at his resume. The only fight that he's lost was a split decision with Manny Pacquiao. You know, that's the only loss on your resume, you're doing all right. You know, he's won world titles. He talks a talk. He's got that American flash, and that's what we want. A bit similar to when Tony Harrison came out here to Australia. That's what we want. We want these Americans to be American, do your thing, and we're sending in our Australian champion, our world champion, to take it down.
How exactly did the fight come about? We heard a couple of different names being thrown around, like you just mentioned. How did we land on Thurman, and what's kind of the thought process going in there?
Opportunity, as I said, Tim said he wants names. We want to go to America and make a statement. This is his first fight in Las Vegas. It has to be a statement fight. Keith Thurman's a guy who's been in big fights. So the talks leading up to it, there were a lot of names that were tossed up. A lot of people that are unavailable. We would have loved a guy like Jermell Charlo, former undisputed world champion. We would have loved anyone, Spence Crawford. Them guys have got their own things going on. Keith Thurman is a guy that we've got, and we're really stoked with that, because I think this is a one that'll make noise for Tim over in the States. He's already made noise with his performances last year. This year's a new year, and we're ready to do the same thing, but do it in Vegas.
Keith Thurman, he hasn't fought for the last 2 years. What are you expecting that he'll bring in a performance against someone like Tim?
Well, Keith Thurman showed that when he comes back after time off, he's a very dangerous fighter. The fight against Barrios, very impressive. Barrios is no slouch. The fact that Thurman was able to knock him off after a long layoff shows that you can't underestimate him whatsoever. Tim doesn't underestimate anyone. He comes in and gives his best every time, and his best is the world's best. So Thurman can throw whatever he wants at him. Tszyu's ready.
George, this is the biggest weekend in the history of Australian boxing, with Liam Wilson fighting in a world title eliminator, Tszyu headlining this massive show, but also Michael Zerafa fighting for a legitimate world title on the same show. How do you feel about all of that that's going on?
It is. It's the biggest weekend of boxing in Australian boxing history. Tim's headlining it. Tim's the guy. He's going to carry it all. Liam Wilson has got a huge opportunity heading back to Arizona. It's going to be a fantastic fight. I've got no doubt that Liam Wilson will get a great result there too. And we've also got Michael Zerafa on Tim's undercard, fighting for a world title. I know he's waited for that shot for quite some time, and it'd be great to see him win a world title and hold on to that belt for a little while, so that when Tim comes up the middleweight, it'll make for a great fight there too. So I really wish nothing but success to all our Aussie fighters that are fighting on that weekend. And Australian boxing in general, you know, there's so many great world champions that we have at the moment. So Tim will keep making the noise and keep the people coming in, and we'll keep winning them titles.
Tim, congratulations. How does it feel now that this has sunk in over the course of the weekend, that you're headlining such a significant show in the US?
Oh, well, I knew about it for like maybe a week or so ago. So it was, again, holding in the excitement, knowing that I've got something locked in finally. It's a good feeling, and it was months and months in the talks. I was probably buggering these guys. I was actually quite patient this time, but I started to get a bit edgy, but you know what, the deal got done, and I couldn't have asked for a better result. You know, like, this is like a pinch yourself moments type thing. You know, like when you think of the word YOLO, this is it.
What about the fact that you did do a lot of this preparation preparing for Erickson Lubin, a southpaw, and now you've switched to someone of the significance of Keith Thurman?
Yeah, just typical, you know, like typical. They start getting cold feet. So what do? You know, I've been prepping for a southpaw for 7 weeks now, so I've been going pretty hard now. But what do? The show goes on. I'm even more happier now that it's Keith Thurman. Bigger name, caliber of fight bigger. When you talk about moments and experiences, you're talking T-Mobile Arena, headlining Amazon Prime, going to the States. It's a big deal, you know. I've loved fighting in Australia. It's been absolutely an honour and such a great time. But now I'm glad I'm here at the airport, heading on to do history-making things.
Do you feel the weight of that expectation and the pressure, because you're opening a new broadcast deal in the United States on a massive pay-per-view card here in Australia on Main Event with everyone watching as well, but do you feel that pressure of what's happening over there?
Yeah, but pressure is a privilege to have. So it's a privilege for me to do what I'm doing and just enjoy what you do, and the pressure comes with it, but yeah, embrace it.
Jimmy, what version of Keith Thurman do you think rocks up? Because like George said before, he's only lost to Randy, but he has been out for a while.
The one that drops under 6. That's the one that's coming.
How risky is he? I mean, like, he's fought and beaten some incredible guys, like, the list goes on and on. Garcia,
Your safety is out there.
Yeah.
We'll get to keep a safe distance from his fellow cats.
Yeah. No, he's got the caliber. His names have definitely been much better than my ones. The resume is much higher. I completely agree with that. But he's never faced a Tszyu in his life, you know. So that's the most challenging part for him.
We've heard you talk about American Takeover, obviously. What's actually involved in Tszyu's American Takeover, turning into USA, as you call it?
Knock them all out. Knock them all out. Let them all squeal and feel it all. You know, simple.
Do you reckon once you get over there, that's probably going to be where the rest of your fights happen, big money over in America, obviously, or do you plan on coming back to Australia?
Look, I love Australia, but I'm not the type of guy that waits. If I'm going to be waiting 6-12 months for a fight, that's not going to be me. And if the boys can make a fight happen in between, I will fight in Australia. But right now, we have signed a multi-fight deal in America, and we are all heading towards there, and that's where the near future is.
Jimmy, you were going into this fight with a massive training camp under your belt, been knocking guys out for fun. and you're in there against a guy that's going to have some question marks about how much he's got left in the tank. Like, do you genuinely expect to blast Thurman?
In my mind, yes. I believe the next 8 weeks and how I approach this camp and the way I have been approaching this camp, that when I peak, and he will feel it, and he will feel that he's never been in the ring with anyone like me.
Tim, any truth to the rumour that you're sitting next to Michael Zerafa on this flight to the United States today?
Nah, sorry, man. He's down a couple rows behind.
Tim, how have you dealt with fights that you wanted and couldn't have been made, like Charlo? How have you dealt with that mentally to just park that and move on?
Sorry, can you say it again?
Charlo.
How have you dealt with the frustration of not making a fight with someone like Charlo?
I've come to the conclusion that I'm never going to fight him because he's a bit of a coward, and I'm finally, all the sanctioning bodies are realizing that he's a fraud, and that he went so hard to win the belts, and you got to go even harder to keep him. And what did he do? He just stopped fighting, and it's unfair for the rest of the division. It's held us all up for 2 or 3 years. So let him go into hiding and into his little holiday, into his little whatever he does. It's not my concern. He's not on the radar at all for anyone anymore at the moment because he's got nothing to bring.
And
You go, mate.
in happier news, we know that you're a big supporter of South Sydney. Obviously, there's the Aussie Takeover starting in Vegas with the NRL. Are you going to link up with any of the teams in the time that you're over for the training camp, or are you just going to keep the head down?
No, I'll come to the game. I brought my Bunnies jersey with me, so the other teams won't be too happy. I got a connection with all the teams except the Roosters, actually. Sorry to the Roosters. But yeah, I'll be there hopefully with my Bunnies.
Do you welcome the news that Jamal Charlo has been made a champion in recess by the WBC over the weekend, that essentially he's no longer a world champion?
Yeah, well, that should have been 6 months ago when me and Mendoza fought. That should have been it, Whatever, belts are belts. I'm going for history making stuff. Pinch yourself moments, YOLO moments.
Hey, Tim, any chance Mendoza is in camp with you?
Yeah, we're in the talks actually. Yeah, it would be good because very similar type style actually.
But he's awkward, and
He's got certain punches that Thurman throws, and he'll be good. And he's a good guy to work with, and he's a true gentleman.
Tim, fair to say that Keith Thurman is probably a boxer you know more about than just about anyone else after mimicking his style in sparring at times?
Yeah, well, 2019 I got the call for sparring Pacquiao, where I was told to mimic him. So I've had a good watchful of him, and had to sort of impersonate him in sparring, so I know what he brings, I know what he's like. It's crazy that 3-4 years later we're doing a show together.
Tim, I think I know the answer, but what do you say to Zerafa if he says, let's get it on after you win this? What do you say to that?
Zerafa who?
Do you have any final words? Then we'll let you get on your plane, but for the Australian public, we're looking forward to seeing you again in action so soon.
Look, bon voyage from myself. It's been 6 years in the making to get to this final stage, and I thank everyone again for all the support, and it's been incredible, and I'm glad to be able to represent the people of Australia in the country of America.
Cheers, Tim.
See you later.
Thanks, Tim. Go well, mate.